Months ago, when Ellie made the serious miscalculation of tasking me with creating a video commemorating Rob's 30th anniversary, I was at first overwhelmed, but then I realized that there were so many weird directions this could go. So first things first, we need to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, people calling in definitely have trouble pronouncing his name.
Yeah, it's a hard name to pronounce. People look at it and say, "Oh my gosh, it's Polish, how do I pronounce it?" Let's clear it up once and for all. It's pronounced Rob. Not Rod, not Bob, not Rock, Rob. Like I said, we could go in so many directions with this documentary. Rob is so much more than that smiling person waiting at the door to give you a big hug. We could follow his passions, his ice dancing, his love of gardening. We could follow all the unanswered questions, like why won't he let anyone in his house? Or why are there never any bowls in the kitchen? But then I ran across this picture, and it all came together.
So is that you in the picture?
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember this picture being taken? Do you remember sitting on Rob's lap?
No. I was 9 months old.
Could you read before you sat on Rob's lap in 1997?
No.
But you can read now.
Yeah, wait.
So before you sat on Rob's lap, you couldn't read. Then you sat on his lap, and now you can read, right?
Wait, what?
So this girl claims that she learned to read simply by sitting on Rob's lap. Though this claim seems dubious, it sparked my interest. So I decided to see if there was any actual data as to the impact Rob has had on literacy rates. Turns out there is. But before we get into this intriguing data, let's do a quick review of Rob's career. Rob started his career as a Vista at Northside Learning Center 31 years ago. Then he led the Minneapolis Learning Center for a couple of years before becoming the training god that he is today. Okay, back to the data. So I did some quick math on just how much impact Rob and his training department has actually had on affecting the literacy cause. I'll use a graphic to capture the magnitude of the impact. Here is the list of countries with populations smaller than the number of volunteers trained by the Minnesota Literacy Council under the direction of Rob. Not convinced? Haven't heard of any of these countries? All right, let's do some more math. Let's just conservatively say that each of these people went on to work with, say, 10 learners in their lifetime. Here's the new list. Almost a quarter of the countries in the world have populations smaller than the number of people impacted by, you guessed it, our hero. So basically we're talking about a lot of people. Okay, maybe more like this, but still a lot of people. So I got to thinking, knowing now the incredible impact Rob has had on our field, what would the world be like without Rob? I mean, I know that sounds kind of morbid, but what if Rob had decided to become a banana farmer or a monkey trainer or, God forbid, a pirate or whatever this is? I decided to interview some key people in the field to see what they have to say about Rob's impact. Let's start right at the top. Peter Waite has known Rob for the better part of 3 decades. He's the Senior Vice President of Pro Literacy.
Well, I've known Rob for pretty much his entire literacy career, for many, many years now. And I have to say that Rob is a special guy. For years, he worked locally and did a tremendous amount of work around the state of Minnesota. But his reputation and his work and his knowledge base really attracted the attention nationally. And we've used him dozens and dozens of times when we've had opportunities to be able to take him and send him out in the field around the nation. So he has touched the hearts and minds of many people in far corners of the United States. He's really one of our go-to guys. He was someone we could count on, and we knew that when he went somewhere, the combination of professionalism, collegiality, and passion and commitment to the cause was going to be stellar, and it's the only way he could do it.
Would you say that Rob is the Frank Laubach of the upper Midwest?
We'll take that as a yes. Rob also supervised a number of VISTA volunteers over the years and is well respected by all.
Yeah, Rob, he's a really good supervisor. What was the question again?
Okay, thanks, Christian. Lloyd Brown is daytime coordinator of our Open Door Learning Center at Sumner Library. I wanted to talk to him because he has something that Rob has envied for years. Oh, come on, not that. I'm talking about Canadian citizenship. We wanted to get an international perspective on the impact Rob has had on the field of literacy.
Being a Canadian, I think I can speak for the country when I say Rob has made a great cultural impact on relations between the United States and Canada. We're indebted to him. Well, Rob has had a huge impact on our program, obviously, from the many volunteers that we've had come through. Rob has single-handedly touched every one of them in an appropriate way, of course. And we are indebted to Rob's service, the organization, and to the success we've seen here at the program.
Before we move on, we must acknowledge that every great human has a darker side. And Rob, great human as he is no different. Just how dark, I'll let you decide for yourself.
Rob has some really strange eating habits.
You've heard that story about the olives.
So, Vicky mentioned the olive story. Around the Literacy Council, there exists a myth, nay, a legend. No one knows for sure if it's true, but virtually everyone has heard the story. It goes something like this. As a youth, Rob was fond of olives. At one of his birthday parties, Rob's aunt, the nun, gave him a gallon of olives to presumably enjoy over the next few weeks. Now, just as a side note, a gallon of olives contains roughly 3,500 calories and more than 40 times the daily recommended salt intake. I'm sure you can see where this is headed. A few hours later, an empty olive jar lay broken on the ground, and Rob was on his way to the emergency room to have his stomach pumped. He had effectively pickled himself. Now, for most, this simply would have been a painful learning experience in overindulgence. You can choose to either believe or not believe this tale, but I will submit the following just so you are aware that the dark, overindulgent tendencies quite possibly remain with us to this day.
At first I thought it was like a bag of, I don't know, like squished up things, intestines maybe, but it was rutabagas. And then I think he just ate rutabagas all week. The whole week long, that's all he ate.
He would put the boiled fish in the microwave, and then the boiled fish would stink up the office every single day. And it happened for a whole week, every single day, boiled fish.
Okay, chill guys. Let's get back to the documentary. Rob has tutored for years at the Open Door Learning Center Arlington Hills. Rachel has lots of great stories about Rob's impact and antics.
So my best Rob story is there was a day we were doing circle time and we were going around and singing each kid's name, and we get to Rob and I point to him and say, "Hey guys, who's that?" And one of the kids, without hesitation, genuinely said, "Grandpa!" And Rob looks and he looks at me and I look at him and I try not to laugh and he's looking, and then we both burst into tears laughing so hard. And the poor girl looked at us and went, "What?" and was confused why we were laughing so hard that she called Rob Grandpa. And this was 4 years ago. So Rob is just turning into a regular older volunteer now. So Rob has been an awesome tutor here for 7 years. He has helped with all the kids in different ways, including reading with them every day that he's here, getting down and playing with them, helping them learn their letters, building different things with them, really building their vocabulary and engaging them, and building different relationships with each kid that comes in, and special relationships with other kids that those bonds have been for as long as the preschooler's been here, and sometimes even after when they've come back and visit, which just really goes to show how special that Rob is to the preschool program and to our organization as a whole.
And finally, Todd Wagner, the State Director of Adult Basic Education at the Department of Education, wanted to address Rob directly.
Rob, wow, unbelievable. 30 years. You look so youthful. It's hard to imagine that could possibly be possible. But I just want to say how much I admire all the work you've done. You have been a clear leader in the field in Minnesota, and well beyond the realm of volunteer training recruitment. Obviously you have been the main leader in that domain for decades now, but also all your involvement with standards, with the PD Advisory Committee, has just been amazing. So thank you for all that great work, and I really admire your capabilities and what you've done over the years.
And he also wanted to address the other elephant in the room.
Okay, and on the other matter of what Eric just mentioned, here's the really hard part for me. While I'm perfectly happy being recognized as your indistinguishable twin, the sad truth of the matter is that what I have to actually admit to people is you're the educator and I'm the bureaucrat. So anybody who had anything interesting to talk about or was looking for good advice on meaningful things really need to be talking to you, while if they had some banal bureaucratic thing that they needed, that was actually me. So I'm happy to be the twin, but I'm a little bit the jealous twin because you're actually the one doing the interesting work and I'm not. So, but I appreciate also having somebody who likes my same sensibility around plaid shirts.
So it's hard to wrap 30 years worth of thanks into a short video, but let's give it a shot.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Rob, thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob, for 30 years.
Congratulations, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob, and congratulations. Looking forward to the next 30 years.